everyone, I'm back with another chapter. Dear children, development of social and economic systems that provide at least one of the functions of money. Such system can be understood as means of trading wealth indirectly and not directly as with barter. Dear children, money is a mechanism that facilitates this process. And money may take a physical form as in coins and notes or may exist as a written or electronic account. Dear children, it may have intrinsic value, be legally exchangeable for something with intrinsic value or only have normal value. Dear children, the invention of money took place before the beginning of written history. Dear children, consequently, any story of how money first developed is mostly based on conjecture and logical inference. Dear children, the significant evidence establishes many things were bartered in ancient markets that could be described as a medium of exchange. Dear children, today we will continue with economics of class 10 and the chapter which we will discuss is money and credit. Let us move on to the topic. Dear children, you will learn modern forms of money and how they are linked with the banking system in this chapter. In the second half of the chapter, you will know about credit and how it impacts borrowers depending upon the situations. So, go through this video lecture to understand these topics in depth. Today's our topic, money and credit. Dear children, what a person desires to sell is exactly what the other wishes to buy. In a barter system where goods are directly exchanged with the use of money, the double concordance of wants is an essential feature. Dear children, in contrast, in an economy where money is in use, money by providing the crucial intermediate step eliminates the need for double concordance. Dear children, money acts as an intermediate in the exchange process. It is called a medium of exchange and this is known as barter system. Let us discuss about money as a medium of exchange. A person holding money can exchange it for any commodity or service that he or she might want. Dear children, money acts as an intermediate in the exchange process. It is called medium of exchange. In many of our day-to-day transactions, goods are being bought, sold with the use of money, isn't it? The reason as to why transactions are made in money is that a person holding money can easily exchange it for any commodity or service that he or she wants. So, when in the exchange, both parties agree to sell and buy each other's commodities is called double coincidence of wants. Dear children, in the barter system, double coincidence of wants is an essential feature. Then the question arises, what are the modern forms of money? Let us discuss about that. We have seen that money is something that can act as a medium of exchange in transaction. Dear children, in the early ages, Indian used grains and cattle as money. Dear children, thereafter came the use of metallic coins, gold, silver, copper coins, a phase which continued well into the last century. Now, the modern forms of money include currency, paper notes and coins. The modern forms of money, currency and deposits are closely linked to the workings of the modern banking system. Then now the question arises, what about currency? Let us discuss about currency. Modern forms of money include currency, paper notes and coins. Money is accepted as a medium of exchange because the currency is authorized by the government of country. Dear children, in India, the Reserve Bank of India issues currency notes on behalf of the central government. So, no other individual or organization is allowed to issue currency. So, the rupee is widely accepted as the medium of exchange in India. Dear children, modern forms of money include currency, paper notes and coins. Dear children, money is accepted as a medium of exchange because the currency is authorized by the government of the country. Dear children, in India, the Reserve Bank of India issues currency notes on behalf of central government. As per India law, no other individual or organization is allowed to issue currency, and no individual in India can legally refuse a payment mode in rupee. So, let us discuss now about deposits in bank. The other form in which people hold money is as deposits with the bank. People deposit money with the bank by the opening a bank account in their names. Dear children, the other form in which people hold money is as deposits with banks. Dear children, people deposits their extra cash with the bank by opening a bank account in their names. So, banks accept the deposits and also pay an amount of interest on the deposits. Dear children, the deposits in the bank accounts can be withdrawn on demand. These deposits are called demand deposits. Dear children, the payments are made by checks instead of cash. So, a check is a paper instructing the bank to pay a specific amount from the person's account to the persons in whose name the check has been issued. So, the other form in which people hold money is as deposits with the bank. And people deposit money with the banks by the opening a bank account in their name, and banks accepted the deposits and also pay an amount as interest on the deposit. Since the deposits in the accounts can be withdrawn on demand, these deposits are called demand deposits. It is this especially which leads in the essential characteristics of money. Dear children, you would have heard of payments being made by checks instead of cash. For payment by check, the buyer who has an account with bank make out a check of a specific amount. So, a check is a paper instructing the bank to pay a specific amount from the person's account to the persons in whose name the check has been issued. Dear children, the facility of check against demand deposits make it possible to directly settle payments without the use of cash. Since the demand deposits are accepted widely as means of payment and along with the currency. Dear children, they constitute money in the modern economy also. But for the banks, there would be no demand and no payments by checks against these deposits. So, the modern forms of money, currency and deposits are closely linked to the working of the modern banking system. No, so now the question arises, what are the loans activities of banks? Let us discuss about that. Banks keep only a small proportion of their deposits as cash with themselves. This is kept as provision to pay the depositors who might come to withdraw money from the bank on any given day. Dear children, banks keep only a small proportion of their deposits as cash with themselves. These days, banks in India hold about 15% of their deposits as cash. And this is kept as a prevention to pay the depositors who might come to withdraw money from the bank on any given day. Dear children, bankers use the major portion of the deposits to extend loans. There is a huge demand for loans for various economic activities. So, banks change a higher interest rate on loans than they often on deposits. Dear children, the difference between what is charged from borrowers and what is paid to depositors is their main source of income for banks. Did you got this point? Banks keep only a small proportion of their deposits as a cash with themselves, and banks make use of the deposits to meet the loan requirements of the people. In this way, banks mediate between those who have surplus funds and those who are in need of these funds. So, banks charge a higher interest rate on loans than what they offer on the deposit. So, the difference between what is charged from borrowers and what is paid to depositors is their main source of income. So, what is the two different credit situations? Let us discuss about that. Dear children, credit means loan refers to an agreement in which the lender supplies the borrower with money. Dear children, goods or services in return for the promise of future payment. Here are two examples which help you to understand how credit works. Let us discuss about that. Festive seasons. Swapna problem. Dear children, first festive seasons. In this case, particular case, Salim obtains credit to meet the work capital needs of production. Then the credit helps him to meet the ongoing expenses of production, then complete production on time and thereby increase his earning. Dear children, in this situation, credit helps to increase earning and therefore the person is better off than before. Dear children, then another example, Swapna's problem. Dear children, in Swapna case, the failure of the crop made loans repayment impossible. Then she had to sell part of the land to repay the loan. Then credit, instead of helping Swapna improve her earning and left her worse off. So this is an example of debt trap. What is credit in this case? Pushes the borrower into a situation from which recovery is very painful. Whenever credit would be useful or not depends on the risk in the situation and whether there is some support in case of loss. If you want more information regarding this, go through your textbook. You may get the answers about festive seasons and Swapna problem. Go through your textbook. Terms of credit. Every loan agreement specifies an interest rate which the borrowers must pay to the lender along with the repayment of the principal additions. And lenders may demand collateral against the loans. Dear children, every loan agreement specifies an interest rate which the borrower must pay to the lender along with the payment of the principal. Dear children, so in addition, lenders also demand collateral. Collateral nothing but security against loans. This security is an asset that the borrower own maybe it may be land or building or vehicles, whatever it may be, and uses this as an guarantee to lender until the loan is repaid. So, if the borrower fails to repay the loan, the lender has the right to sell the asset or collateral to obtain payment. Dear children, so interest rate and security and documentation requirement and the mode of the payment together is called the terms of credit. So, it may vary depending on the nature of the lender and the borrower. So, let us now the question arises formal sector credits in India. Let us discuss about that. We have seen that people obtain loans from various sources. The various types of loans can be conveniently grouped as formal sector and informal sector loans. The children, cheap and affordable credit is crucial for the country's development, and the various types of loans can be here formal sectors and informal sectors. These are the loans from the banks and cooperatives. These are the formal sectors. The Reserve Bank of India supervises the functioning of formal sources of loans. Then banks have to submit information to the RBI on how much they are lending, to whom and what interest rate, etc. Then it comes to informal sector loans. These are the loans from money lenders, traders, employers and relatives and friends, etc. Dear children, there is no organization which supervises the credit activities of the lenders in the informal sector. Dear children, so there is no one to stop them from using unfair means to get their money back. So here formal sector is better for taking loan. What about formal and informal credit? 85% of the loans taken by poor households in the urban areas are from informal sources. Urban households take only 10% of their loans are from informal sources, while 90% are from formal sources. Dear children, the formal sector meets only about half of the total credit needs of rural people. So, the remaining credit needs are met from informal sources. So, it is important that the formal credit is distributed more equally so that the poor can benefit from the cheaper loans. So, it is necessary that banks and cooperatives increase their lending, particularly in rural areas, so that the dependence on informal sources of credit reduce. The children, while the formal sector loans need to expand, it is also necessary that everyone receives these loans. The children, we have seen that people obtain loans from various sources. The various types of loans can be conveniently grouped as formal sector and informal sector. Among the former are loans from banks and cooperatives. The informal lenders including money lenders, traders, employers, relatives and friends, etc. Dear children, the Reserve Bank of India supervises the functioning of formal sources of loans. For instance, who have seen that the banks maintain a minimum cash balance out of the deposits they receive. So, the RBI monitors the banks in actually maintaining a cash balance, and periodically banks have to submit information to the RBI on how much they are lending, to whom, at what interest rate, etc. Then one more thing, there is no organization that supervises the credit activities of lenders in the informal sector. They can lend at whatever interest rate they choose, and there is no one to stop them from using unfair means to get their money back. Dear children, compared to the formal lenders, most of the informal lenders charge a much higher interest on loans. So, the cost to the borrower of informal loans is much higher. Then, the higher cost of borrowing means a large part of the earning of the borrowers is used to repay the loans. Dear children, so cheap and affordable credit is crucial for the country's development. Here, let us discuss about self-help groups for the poor. Self-help groups SHGs are informal associations of people who choose to come together to find ways to improve their living conditions. Dear children, poor households are still dependent on informal sources of credit because of the a few reasons. So, few of them, banks are not present everywhere in rural India. Even if banks are present, getting a loan from a bank is much more difficult as it requires proper documents and proofs. To overcome these problems, people credited self-help groups, SHGs, or small group of poor people which promotes small saving amount to their members. Their children, a typical SHGs has 15 to 20 members, usually belonging to one neighborhood, who meet and save regularly. Dear children, in the previous we have discussed that poor households are still dependent on informal sources of credit. So, banks are not present everywhere in rural India. Even when they are present, getting a loan from a bank is much more difficult than taking a loan from informal source. The absence of collateral is one of the major resources which prevent the poor from getting the bank loans. So, informal lenders such as money lenders on the other hand know the borrowers personally and hence are often willing to give a loan without collateral. So, the money lenders charge very high rates of interest, keep no record of the transaction and harass the poor borrowers. So, in recent years, people have tried out some newer ways of providing loans to the poor. These SHG groups helps borrowers to overcome the problems of lack of collateral. So, people can get timely loans for a variety of purposes and at a reasonable interest rate. So, self-help groups are the building blocks of organization of the rural poor. Dear children, these groups helps women to become financially self-reliant. The regular meetings of the group provides a platform to discuss and act on a variety of social issues such as health, nutrition, domestic violence. Dear children, last but not least, 1 hour per a day of study in your chosen field is all it takes. So, 1 hour per a day of study will put you at the top of your field within 3 years. So, within the 5 years, you will be a national authority. In 7 years, you can be one of the best people in the world at what you do. Learning will continue. Stay tuned for more video lectures on social science. Keep learning. Thank you.